All right, welcome, one and all. We've got some wonderful action today. What is that?
Yes.
Hmm. I wonder what
So,
it could be.
well, I don't know. We haven't told them yet in the game.
What
But yes. So today on the pay, I was about to say payroll. Forgive me. We don't get paid, sadly.
is
Um,
this payment you speak of?
what is this payment you speak of? So, by the looks of the screen, and if you monitor the industry, you might be able to tell what we're talking about. For those of you who don't know, though, it's all right. We all have been there. We're talking about the new Halo Infinite overview, but we're also doing something else.
Yes.
Normally, it's my beautiful voice serenading you as we go over all the details, and our wonderful editor/co-host Justin over here provides the side commentary.
Side commentary, gameplay, anything else, all
he's
all
the
all the rest of the entertainment when it comes to the fun stuff. So what
he's
is
the
it?
show he's the show filler.
So what is it that we got today? Well, we've got a thing called Halo, obviously. I mean, why else would I be playing it again? Not because
Yes,
it's
but
basically
before
my
we dive into
favorite
the
game.
topic, I should just finish up that yes, usually it is my voice who is serenading all of you with the details, and he provides the filler for the show and the gameplay and everything. Oh, well, we're switching it up today because Halo is his bread and butter topic. Well, I would say both of ours, but much more him than me,
Yes.
admittedly. We're like, okay, you do the show this time, and I'll be providing the side commentary. So if you don't hear as much as me as you don't worry. Don't worry. It's not because I fell asleep like last time. I'll admit to that. So sorry.
Yeah,
But
he kind of just faded away, so nothing bad happened to him. Don't worry about that to
the
anyone.
FBI did not get me yet.
Yeah, to anyone who's watching that now, don't worry, he didn't, disappear because some magical entity decided, now is the time for you to go, my child.
Yes, I have ascended into heaven. I have ascended into the Shangri-La. But yeah, it was a very busy week, so I fell asleep. So
Yeah,
boo on me.
it's
I'm
one of
so
those
sorry.
things. But
But yeah, so
for
it'll be him
us,
doing most talking.
for us today, we've got some wonderful stuff. So what is that? Halo. What kind of Halo? Infinite Halo. I mean, interesting how we
Elegant.
went from 5 to immediately an infinite, but that's besides the
Skip the
point.
entire rest of the number line. They're like, what's it? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, infinite.
So what's going on with Infinite right now? Well, Infinite's actually went and dropped a bit of an overview on what's going to be happening. Pretty much a lot of the major stuff that we've already known that's going to be happening, like an open world type of game, different ability to go and do different missions, maybe choose if you want to do a mission now, or maybe a side mission, or maybe just, a random objective. Yeah, all that's pretty much the case. We're able to do whatever we want with it, and that's actually pretty cool. That's very different for Halo, and it's gonna allow for a very, very interesting experience, because that's the same type of thing, like things like Far Cry and some of those other games that have a very big open world aspect.
And on that note, actually, you mentioned Far Cry. We were actually talking about this yesterday when he was first bringing this to my. Well, I don't want to say. Yeah, no, bringing this to my attention. But the Far Cry comparison. As a longtime Far Cry player, when I watched the overview myself just before the show and yesterday, I could see the comparisons. Like you can see it if you know what Far Cry is usually like. You got the strongholds and you got your, enemies, and you might randomly encounter civilians out in the wild that you might do stuff with. It looks like they're taking the same generalish route, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what happens with it. Interestingly enough, you say civilians. At one point during the gameplay, we see what seems at first to be Marines, with
the equivalent of civilians in Halo.
Yeah, no armor, so it makes you really think that they're civilians. So I really don't know what's going on there. I think
Well, maybe they're Marines on a budget. They couldn't afford that
maybe.
Kevlar.
I mean,
Whatever they
I'm
use.
honestly intrigued as to why they have no real armor at all. They're just kind of clothed. Like, are these people who the Banished captured or something, and they're just kind of prisoners who escaped? Like, I honestly want to know what's going on there, because I mean, it's obviously not like our little Grug incident where low poly, solid face friend
It
But
did look much better when they showed the overview. Again,
yeah,
there is some level of cinematography, so don't believe everything you see immediately, but it does look much better. The overall environment
yes,
looks generally the same, but you can tell there's like an almost higher quality to it. It
yes.
feels like
There
it should be on the new console this
in the
time.
description, you'll actually see a comparison between the old trailer when Infinite was first like really dropping, and now with the overview, and you can actually see some of the finer things have actually been tuned up, fixed a little. Some things have more flaring. It all feels like they've put a little more. I don't know the best word for it. A
Pizzazz?
little bit, a little bit. I mean, I don't know
Like
exactly.
polish?
I wouldn't say polish. Polish would be like,
Substance, perhaps.
yeah, like more of a feeling. Like if for a painting the character was the main part of the painting, and like the background was all of the detailing work and whatnot like that. I would say they've added a little more detailing. Like they've added some more trees and maybe like a couple flowers in the background and all that. Like they've done a little work with it. So
If War and Blood could be a painting, then this would be the equivalent to a Van Gogh.
yeah. So yeah, they've gotten a fair amount more detail into the game. So those who like to go crazy with their details on their machines, yeah,
That
you'll
ultra
have
high setting.
yeah you'll be able to get like those crazy lens flares and all sorts of stuff like that. You'll be able to make the game look really nice. So
Freaking ultra uber freaking mega instinct computer graphics card
yeah,
destroyer.
yeah, pretty
Turns it up,
much.
your graphics card just melts out in a sludge out of the back of your computer.
Yep. Ha, forget mining Bitcoin. I know what will really ruin this thing.
I know what will really the new crisis, ladies and gentlemen. Those who don't know that reference, it's a long story. Look it up.
Vanish.
The new
So,
crisis.
so what's going on right now is Infinite is clearly going to be having some open challenges type stuff that you can do. Things like encounters, maybe mini dungeons, obviously the main campaign missions, which I have a feeling instead of being a linear type of path are going to be mostly consisting of we have all of these objectives that need to be completed, complete them at your own discretion. So you'll be given like maybe 6 different objectives and you can just kind of do them whenever you want type of thing. And then at some point there's obviously going to be a time limit one because I mean every open world game always has that one mission that's just a time limit, and if you fail it then you just kind of revert back to a checkpoint.
I'm getting that legendary mission from DA where you have to do like everything in like a few seconds, and the fuel is terrible. And just...
I mean this is a Halo.
I'm having flashbacks.
This is a Halo game, and there is still a bit of Halo 2
shouldn't
blood.
be that bad.
Yeah, but
Halo 2 wasn't that bad though.
you fool.
I don't think it was, at least. I don't.
The Jackal snipers. You
Well,
fool.
you just don't gotta get sniped, and you're fine.
Are you sure about that?
Yep, totally.
You clearly. I'd recommend.
We'll have a discussion about this after the show, I suspect. But
yes, anyone who is a true player of the original Halo 2 and all that, you know.
Well, I didn't play on Nightmare difficulty. I just played on normal.
You don't need to play on Nightmare.
I didn't get killed by Jackal snipers all that badly. I don't.
Oh, you don't need to get killed by them. You just need to get shot at them enough at the worst timing.
I never had that issue. I never did. Maybe I'm just, maybe it's just me.
Maybe. Anyways, like I said with when it comes to the campaign there, feels like it's gonna be a lot more open-isk. Interestingly enough, transportation from one area to another has actually been fully unshown, which seems to be there's going to be like these types of landing pads or some sort where you'll be basically able to order some kind of ship to come to you, and well, it can be a ship, a warhog, or whatever, and our
I'm just
little
wondering where they're getting those.
yeah, yeah, that's the
Like
other
I
side
can
of
see
it.
that because they've done that in Far Cry 2, just drawing back to that comparison. But it's like, okay, you're on a ring with maybe one guy who has a ship. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where's he getting A10 warthogs?
Yeah.
So like a supply
I mean,
depot kind of where
our lovely marine pilot friend thus far is going to be dropping it off, but
kind of
yeah,
brings you back to the
how
idea
is
of there
he
being
getting it?
makes it kind of brings you back to the idea of like again in Far Cry where you'll have like kind of that hub area where you're kind of like sanctioned in like especially newer games where there'll be like there's this area where all of your allies are kind of gathering and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling I don't fully know if it might be a thing, but it would be interesting if that's the direction they're going to be going with it.
Makes
Is
sense.
in the
Sounds like a
map
stronghold.
mode. Well, no.
Or not a stronghold, but
In the map mode, there's an option where you can kind of see who controls what area. So you can see like
oh,
heavily controlled banish areas, lightly controlled banish areas, UNSC controlled areas, and then just areas you've cleared out that are just not controlled by anyone. How I think it's like if that is the case where you can see that, then I have the feeling how it's going to work out for a little bit is there's going to be basically like a lot of uncontrolled, uncontested areas that you're going to create for a while, and then eventually once when you start getting more UNSC like friends and all that, the UNSC will go and start claiming areas that you've uncontested basically.
maybe. The sad part is like if it again goes back to the kind of Far Cry reference, there's usually just you're a swath across the map where you'll eventually just kind of take over everything eventually,
Yeah.
but there really is no congestion back from the enemy. You just kind of like go in, break out their
Yeah.
defenses,
Yeah.
and replace them. It would
That's
be
the
nice if there
other
was a little
thing.
back and forth instead.
So
But
yeah, that's another thing about it is if you can destroy like maybe a fueling depot, and after some time, if you just kind of avoid that area for a while, eventually it gets rebuilt or kind of repaired in a way. Like some of
mhm.
it gets fixed up and it's kind of just like a type of outpost now. Like that would be interesting. That would actually make kind of like a warring type of dynamic when it comes to playing Infinite of you do have to at least keep an eye on some of the areas that you clear out
Instead of just
less
kind of leaving them open because they
yeah
won't take it back.
less the they start going and rebuilding back there, and eventually they might be able to like completely repair the
Rebuild
outpost or
it.
something like that'll be an interesting type of thing to see. And
Yeah.
another interesting fact is if they are able to rebuild it, it's stronger next time. So instead of being the
Hmm.
strength that it was when you first went there, it's now going to be like double the strength or something, and it's going to be more of a challenge because you've decided to completely ignore it.
That would be nice. I mean, like again, it can be a little boring after a while when you're just blindly taking outposts. You're like, oh, I can
Well,
destroy
yeah.
this entire area
I
and
mean,
not take it for a while
it's
because they won't take it back.
I'll say it for what it is. It's obviously going to get very repetitive very quickly. Like it's obviously going to be like, ah, yes, you do these minor objectives in order to gain some level up points to go and better your armor. Like
Then again, Ubisoft is not the storytellers that the Halo universe is, so it might be a little more interesting just because
I
of the
mean,
story.
I have a
But
feeling there's gonna be enough dialogue alone that'll be interesting to tell what's going on with the world and like because how I feel like it's gonna happen is we're not gonna really like be shown or directly told what's happened with the fight on the ring originally, where the majority of the
yeah, no, we're
UNSC
probably gonna have to
forces
figure that out
are
as we
gone.
go.
No, I honestly feel how it's going to be shown is just through little bit of dialogue, like little tidbits of the dialogue are slowly
When
going to
you just like
explain
walk
it.
past and random Marines are just yakking on about, oh, we got crushed like
Ki-
3 months ago, and the band
well,
just
like
murdered our asses.
well, not exactly like that, but basically like they're going to be telling like how the X fight went so badly because of expositioning or this
The
specific
expositional
character.
Marine.
Like they're gonna go and like explain it through certain ways, like instead of directly showing it to us and just kind of outright telling us exactly what happened. Because I mean it'll kind of go
Obviously,
back to the roots of the old Bungie storytelling of a
mm,
little bit of showing, but you know, or what
more
what's the phrase?
more show, less tell.
Yeah, yeah. Like
But
I have a feeling that they might go that way with the storytelling, but yeah, that just kind of depends if they've decided to go past the whole Halo 4 and 5 things going on.
I mean, as a lore nerd, I will say this, because as a pre-registered lore nerd with a life sentence to the lore society, I will say it would be a very big missed opportunity if they didn't have like lore collectibles or somewhere in the world, or some kind of collectible you can get.
I
That tells the
honestly
story.
feel like that's gonna happen because here's the thing. In Halo Reach, that was something that you could do. You could collect little like achievements.
Well, they've been doing that since like
from
what,
that.
Halo 2, where you can kind of like
Uh,
terminal. There were the terminal kind of things in like
I
Halo. What
know
was it,
Halo
3?
3 was definitely that. Halo 3 definitely had like lore and all that through the terminals that you could find on the Ark. So I think I'm not too sure about Halo 2. I think there was some stuff in Halo 2. But I mean, that would be nice because you have a menu system now, you can actually go and kind of collect things. Because then that kind of goes back to my point of they're gonna kind of tell you what happened during those battles, but not directly. So in like for this, you can get like audio logs and maybe like reports of and stuff of like what happened, but you're not gonna be directly told exactly what happened every little bit. You have to kind of work in order to find out.
Yeah, because because if memory serves, Chief hasn't been back to this ring since Halo 1 when he first, blew a
No,
piece of it off.
this is a completely yeah okay.
Or am I thinking about a different one?
Yeah,
I can't
no,
remember the ring.
you're completely off, my friend. All right, I'll give a quick rundown on what this is.
No, this isn't new.
So this is a new Halo ring. This is basically how it works. Is in Halo 1, we've destroyed the original ring of this design.
Yeah.
Of this specific one. This ring that we're going to in Infinite, I'm fairly certain is the same ring that was made in Halo Wars 2. So
Yes.
So basically what I think's going on is the ring in Halo Wars 2 and Halo 3 was meant to be a replacement to the one Chief destroyed in Halo 1.
Halo 1.
So because Chief, I'm not too sure exactly what happened to the ring in Halo 3, if it got destroyed or if it was just really damaged and could still be salvaged. I don't
Possibly.
know. Either way, eventually a new ring was made and was meant to go out, but in Halo Wars 2, obviously that didn't exactly happen the exact way it was meant to. If you don't know what happened in Halo Wars 2, here's a quick disclaimer.
Just disclaimer for the audience. I mean, the game is how old?
It's not that old.
So, I mean...
It's not that old.
It's at least a decade, right?
I'm talking about Halo Wars 2.
Then at least, what, 5 years or something?
No.
Well, not even 5 years.
Yeah, less than that. Halo Wars 2 is still relatively new.
Halo Wars. No, Halo Wars 2. Never mind.
Yeah,
I thought you meant Halo.
No,
I thought
Halo
you said
Wars
Halo 2 for a second. I'm like, wait a minute.
No, like
Halo
if you
Wars
don't
2.
know,
Yeah, no, never mind.
Like if you don't know what happened in like the original Halo, then please take 5 seconds, go look at some of the stories.
Turn us off, go play that game, and come back. We'll be here.
Because trust me, I don't know what you're doing here going and looking at like new games, but not
new
knowing
games in the Halo timeline.
Not knowing anything that happened in the old one, because you're gonna confuse yourself. You're gonna. Really
I think I can say this: Halo Infinite is not the place you should be going to get into the Halo franchise in terms of a story standpoint, because there's a lot here you will not know.
Yeah, really, at this point, you're better off starting with one of the original 3, because then that'll give you like a good baseline.
Halo 1 to 3, pick one.
Yeah, if anything, because I mean, Halo 1's kind of just self-explanatory. You go to Ring, everyone else is dead, you survive, you destroy Ring.
You blow up Ring.
Like, that's basically self-explanatory for that one. Like, it's a self-contained, just kind of an intro to the universe type of thing. But at least Halo 2 and 3 give you, like, the main gist, because basically this is going to be, like, the first actual Halo game that well, besides the Halo Wars, but Halo Wars was kind of just meant to be like that anyways in the beginning anyways. We're actually getting new factions in a way of the Covenant. So we're getting like
the Banished were introduced in Halo Wars 2, and now they're here as a main faction.
Basically, the Banished were a part of the Covenant, just a subsect that was created during the Covenant, and then when truth was gone and the Covenant kind of completely fractured, they finally had a chance to, really start usurping power and all that.
They didn't like the Covenant, and then when the Covenant got weaker, they said, you know what, we're gonna do our own thing. Bye bye.
Yeah. But
Led by a
to,
dude named
to
Atriox, a
yeah,
big
to,
space
to go
Wookiee.
back earlier, if you don't know any of that, take a quick second and back off. Go maybe 5 minutes ahead if you're watching the video. Otherwise, yeah, because I'm gonna be giving away a little bit of story that happened in Halo Wars 2 real quick. So here we are. All right, so.
You good? You
Yeah,
good?
we're good. We're good. All right, we're going into the story now. So basically, in Halo Wars 2, you're taking place on the Ark. I believe what ended up happening is the main ship that of the UNSC units from the first game eventually drifted to the Ark, Halo 4 style, like Master Chief,
Basically.
and
They kind of got woken up out of cryo and like, what the fuck happened? It's
yeah,
the war over?
basically, they run into the Banished, the leftover Covenant forces who, didn't go running away or disappearing during, I don't know if during, no, I think how it worked with the
The Banished
No, I
basically
think-
just eventually moved to the Ark. They
yeah, I
eventually
think
just took over the
I
Ark.
think what ended up happening is that for a little bit the Ark was cleared out of anything, and then eventually the Banished just kind of went there to go and kind of go over the scraps of the Covenant.
It sounded like there was a human research outpost, but they basically found a way to basically shut off any ways to get reinforcements, and they just kind of like destroyed whatever little like kind of ghost force they had left behind to keep track of the Ark.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we own this place now.
Yeah, I think for a short time after Halo 3, some UNSC forces probably went through the portal again back to the Ark, but just not that many. So basically, what ends up happening, but basically what ends up happening during Halo Wars 2 is you go and try to stop the Banish because obviously they want to go and activate the new fancy ring that's pretty much finished on the Ark. And,
because they want a big weapon.
Yeah, well, no,
the
Banished want to finish the original Great Journey. They believe in the Great Journey. So
did they? I
yes.
believe Atriox didn't. He just wanted a nice big weapon.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure he believes in the Great Journey. But
he
the
never
only
believed
reason,
in the faith.
well, no, the reason why he goes against the Covenant is because they casted him aside. They wanted to kill him and execute him. And he fought back and, went against their execution squads. So that's why he's rise to power. And he's like, no, we're going to finish the Great Journey. We're going to do what our failure predecessors couldn't.
I believe he didn't believe, but we'll get back to you on that one. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, obviously, the normal, yes, we gotta stop bad guy from going and firing weapon, super weapon bad, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, instead of, destroying the weapon like we have in the other games, or, completely, nullifying it because we basically removed the activation key, we go and basically take the control room and just kind of yeet it into space.
Let's pick a biggest weapon in all the galaxy, point it in a direction, and just chuck it. Maybe no one will find it.
Basically how it worked is it took the most vital part of the ring that's used to, activate it all, and removed it, threw it out into space, and then the rest of it, I think, teleported to the position it was meant to be in. So... basically both pieces are gone, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason why in the Infinite trailer and every time we've seen the ring is the reason why a part of it's kind of missing is because that's the part that was ripped out. Like that was, well, I don't know if it was ripped out or kind of removed, ejected. I honestly don't. I don't know exactly what happened in Halo Wars 2 because I didn't play it. All I know is like the basic story on what happened. But basically, that's basically the gist of it. Is that portion gets removed. The Banished are basically trapped on the rest of the ring that got yeeted. So that's the reason why the Banished is on the ring.
Quick side note, by the way. As we're talking, I really did get curious, so I actually looked it up. Apparently, no, Aatrox didn't believe in the Great Journey. He viewed it as a genocide. He just wanted to genocide all humanity.
Well, obviously that part, because I mean, why not? Yeah, let's kill the humans. The humans must suffer. But there's that. I mean, no matter what, the goal is still the same: survive,
He wanted
defeat
a weapon.
Alien before Alien defeat us, basically.
Basically.
So, pretty much that's the gist of what's going on. Why Infinite's in the position for story that it is because Halo Wars 2 is banished, basically got sent to the ring and threw out with the ring and don't really have the ability to do anything with it because, you know, activation room is gone. Interestingly enough, there is one character who I have a feeling we might see in Infinite who was in Halo Wars 2, who I'm pretty sure was with the ring when it got teleported. So, yeah, I really don't know exactly what will be happening there, but we'll see. But yeah, that's basically where Infinite is and why it's kind of in the position that it is.
You should probably like put like a timestamp on the screen or something. Find a way to do that so we can give people like, here's the time of when we talked about the game.
Yeah.
Skip this part.
Yeah. But yeah, basically that's the
gist.
intro story to where Infinite is now from Halo 3 and Wars 2. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because that kind of changes what I thought the Banished were going to be doing, because I honestly thought the Banished were going to be working towards trying to activate the ring without really having any kind of control room or anything, because I mean they don't have a control room.
At that point the thing's busted.
Well, no, it's not busted, it still works. Only like
Right.
that one portion is busted, but the rest of it still works, which is more than enough. And I mean, when you think about it, in Halo 3, if you're able to go and, you know, basically activate a ring that's, I guess,
A ring. All of them go into kind of standby.
a single ring that's like maybe like 50% constructed, then I'm pretty sure you'll be able to go and activate a ring that's at least 90% constructed.
True.
Yeah.
It might just be that they're sitting there kind of with everything there. But again, I think the whole reason for Infinite is this big question mark of like, okay, number one, what happened to, I'm going to spoil the story again, guys, so sorry. What happened to the created? What happened to that war going on?
Yeah.
What are the Banished doing these days?
Yeah,
you know, why are they here?
For right now, we know why the Banished is there, because the Banished...
Oh, we know why the Banished are there. They got ejected out with the ring.
Yeah, they got moved with the ring when the ring teleported.
I wonder what Aatrox is doing these days.
I mean, he's doing something.
Probably just, yeah.
I don't know.
No,
he's still on the Ark, I'm pretty sure. There's still a portion of the Banished forces still on the Ark still. So...
yes, because...
Yeah, that portion of Halo Wars hasn't kind of been wrapped up yet, so we don't really know what's going on with that.
And the Flood are on the Ark too, so...
Yeah, well, obviously. I mean, that's kind of just a given with any Forerunner structure in general. When you think about it, the Forerunners really didn't think that through.
Well, they did. They're like, we don't want to do this, and the Librarian's like, well, we'll do it anyway. And they're always like,
well,
okay,
yeah, no,
fine,
the
we'll
Librarian's like, yes, we need to teach these guys about the Flood by going and putting the flood on literally every vital thing that we have.
The Council, let's not do... I still love that conversation. The Council of Forerunners are like, let's just destroy them all so we can, make sure they're all gone. Librarian, let's not actually. Let's put them on the thing.
Real quick, why didn't the Librarian think of, let's make specific, designated structures for housing the Flood and kind of showing anything that goes there, the capabilities of the Flood. That way, we can show whoever's alive in the future, what the Flood is and how dangerous they can be, without actually risking them. Do they not realize?
I want to say Forerunner hubris, but even that doesn't explain it.
Yeah, when you really think about it, if everything was the way it was when it comes to how the Forerunners wanted to show humans and all that about the Flood, like they did in Halo 1, then that is bad, That's basically the equivalent of like going to a prison with no guards and just letting the prisoners out and allowing like the new police force to learn what the prisoners are like that way.
This is
Like,
Alcatraz. You don't go
yeah,
here.
yeah. So yeah, there's that.
Uh,
But
it's
you know, anyways, back to the whole infinite thing.
yes, back then.
What seems to be the case for right now is we're obviously going to be given an open world. We're obviously going to be given the choice to choose what kind of missions we're going to do. And how I think it might play out when it comes to missions and like rewarding is if you do the main campaign, you get maybe certain rewards, but if you do like certain side missions and stuff, you'll be able to get upgrade points for your armor and all that. Because that's another thing that we see in the overview is pretty much like a full on, you know, upgrade menu and everything for armor and different abilities. So
Wonder how
something
that explain that.
well, no, something like in Halo Reach, the evade, the dash type of thing. Same thing in Halo 5, the dashing that you can do. That's an availability in Infinite that you can gain armor or upgrade points or armor points. I really don't know what they're going to be called. So
I don't. Was that in the campaign? I don't. Think
no,
it was
that
in
it was in the overview. You
No, I
get,
mean
like,
as in like for the Halo Reach thing.
oh,
I don't
in
believe that
Halo
was in the
Reach, it's called Evade. In Halo 5, it's like a full-on like jetpack dash type of thing.
Yeah, but even then, it was like upgrade modules you could get and just hot swap out. It wasn't full on upgrades.
No, that was yeah, no. This is like brand new. Like
So it makes me wonder how that explained that. Maybe the new AI.
maybe I really
She's got a
don't.
fun personality.
I really don't know. What I do know when it comes to the new Cortana discount AI that feels like the whole
Discount
Mendican
The
bias
great value
and
version.
and a you know like the whole Mendican bias and a defensive bias type thing going on. But you know,
That's his pet theory, ladies and gentlemen. He's been on about it the whole bloody time.
well, I mean that's a lot of Halo.
Don't get me wrong, I can see the similarities,
Yeah.
but until it's been confirmed, we don't know. But I
Well,
can see
I
the similarities.
mean, for all we know, it could just be an irony thing where humanity's basically following the same path the Forerunners did without
Yeah,
even
it could
really
just be-
realizing it.
Yeah, it could just be cosmic karma irony.
Yeah. But another interesting thing that I don't know exactly what's going on is there is another fancy little boss that we see in the overview that is talking about the Forerunners, basically, and how the chief is not the chosen one, basically, or whatever. And it feels like they're a Forerunner.
Oh yeah, the elite dude.
No.
Oh no,
not-
that third guy, that third
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Like
Person looks like a
that-
female, but I don't know.
I don't know. Some alien.
It's the Forerunner, so thing. Let's just go with thing.
To me, it's another alien that is probably trying to kill us. So whatever. Elimination before you eliminate me.
It makes you wonder though, like clearly what 343's whole goal is with the last 3 games is try to bring the Forerunners back into the game somehow. They did that with the Isodiadact, where they wrote it in a way where he's been just in I don't want to say cryo, the equivalent of cryo for the Forerunners.
A form of stasis.
A form of stasis for the last million some years, which is how he managed to survive this long.
Also, no, a form of stasis that which didn't freeze his mind, so his mind kept moving. So that's kind of the reason why he's as evil as he is, because he
He just had a chance to simmer for a million years.
Yeah, he had a lot of time to think.
And that didn't help anyone.
Nah.
I think that only made him more angry, but yeah,
yeah, like they're trying to bring the Forerunners into the fray instead of kind of having them brought in through like some dialogue and some events. So
I mean, it makes sense kind of what they're doing on a gameplay standpoint.
It does. It does. It just some of it feels weird, some of it doesn't.
Because then you can have fun with the Forerunner technology, which is always fun. But
yeah, shoot Forerunner
they're
weaponry.
They're kind of also introducing this idea that there was some division in the Forerunners, that there was this two-sided war. There was the creators who were kind of just like, stick with the plan, stick with the rings, everything will be fine. And then there's kind of the Isodiadact side of the war, which was just, you know what, fuck this, we'll fight till we're all dead and screw everybody else.
Me. Everything will become robot. We will destroy the Flood.
So this might be some subsect that was either under him or believed in the kind of thing he did, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we don't exactly know what the hell the whole kind of
Yeah,
divisional split was
I'll
and
be
how
honest. I
politics are going.
really don't know what kind of character this is. If
Yeah,
they're a
we've not seen
forerunner,
anything
if
similar.
they're with the banished, you
Could
can't
just be a
really
Covenant offshoot.
tell because that's the thing is the thing is they kind of have the same type of color palette a bit as the banished. Like
They do,
they
but
look
that could just be for gameplay reasons.
yeah. But what is going to be obvious is they're obviously going to be some kind of fancy boss that you're going to have to fight at some point. So
I mean, there was
whatever.
that elite dude who's like that Spartan hunter who might just be a mercenary working with the banished at this point. Wouldn't
No,
surprise me.
I don't fully think they're a mercenary. I honestly think that they're just kind of like some kind of
Elite general in the
elite.
banished.
Well, not general, but like elite killer type thing. Like one of those high-ranking elites that are just kind of known to do their own thing and kill things and go after the Spartans.
That's possible. I can see the banished having one of those in their arsenal.
Yeah. So there's that. Obviously, he's going to be a fight, but I really honestly don't think there's going to be much of anything unique when it comes to him besides swing, slash, stab. So yeah, I
Maybe
don't.
cloak.
Yeah, maybe cloak. Maybe like, oh yes, I cloaked, but technically I actually just kind of teleported. But I cloaked. I
Cloaks, but
cloaked.
he also teleports.
Yeah, it's like I cloaked, but technically I teleported. But nah, I cloaked. You just didn't see me walk all the way over there.
Go on.
Well, I mean, some games have done that with some characters where they can.
No, I mean Destiny's done that like one of their strikes. So
Yeah, it's like, oh yes, allow me to go invisible, but technically I'm actually
completely
just
despawns.
yeah,
Completely.
in technical terms, I'm actually just kind of teleporting.
Uh-huh.
So there's that. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I honestly don't feel like there's gonna be anything unique when it comes to fighting that character. It's just probably gonna be he has like a fair bit of health type of thing, which actually gets to another point. You can actually see health in this game.
Yes, which brings my greatest concern of the traditional health bar problems: bullet sponges.
Yes, which is
They
obvious.
unrealistically just tank bullets.
I mean,
I can see that
how I
Brute
feel how I feel like it's gonna happen is the enemies, no matter what race, are going to have the type of health they always do. But what makes an enemy like a boss bullet spongy is probably just gonna be like some crazy shields.
Like, yeah, no, I can see
honestly hope that it's just gonna be shields.
Break
and
the
it's
shield
not,
and then they just.
and it's not gonna be, oh yes, you've broken my shields. But anyways.
But anyways, allow me to tank your entire magazine.
Yeah, like
But-
I honestly hope that like if anything, a boss enemy maybe takes a few extra bullets than the average of his race because he is still wearing armor. But still, I mean, please,
Like,
please don't make it just bullet sponge everything.
In Devil's Advocate, my own devil or our own Devil's Advocate here, I can see a brute doing that. Because brutes are just testosterone-fueled juggernauts.
Yes, yes. If we go to Halo 2 logic real quick, technically brutes are technically capable of completely tanking. It doesn't matter how much damage you throw their way. Technically, they can tank like a lot, and just kind of keep rushing at you. It's just
pure adrenaline.
Halo 3 didn't do a good job, kind of showing that, and Halo 3 really didn't show a good job of that, and Halo 2 kind of overdid it just a bit.
But I swear to God, if we play the game and I just see a frickin' grunt start tanking shotgun rounds, I am taking his scrawny ass and breaking him off my kneecap.
If I see like some grunt that has like some fancy armor suddenly take like 500 bullets,
This grunt nut exists. He is canonically a flaw.
Yeah, but that's that. I mean, frankly, I feel like things are a lot nicer than what they were when the trailer first dropped. Because they even showed the same kind of area when they went to that trailer before the elevator and had 2 drop pods come down. And I honestly feel like expressions and details like that have actually been, fully flushed out. It's not just, yes, this is an early version of the game type of thing.
You know what? I actually didn't think about this, but I'll bring this up now. What do you think about the idea of possibly friendly elites and stuff like that coming into the game,
There
considering the
are
state of the war in Galaxy as of now?
well,
Like in
technically there
Halo
are
Infinite.
friendly elites. Halo 2 and Halo, well,
I
yeah,
mean, in
no,
Halo Infinite terms, like, can you see that happening?
yeah, because I mean that was a thing in Halo 3 at least. Like definitely a thing in Halo 3 is there were friendly portions of technically the Covenant, but not the Covenant. Like
Yeah, the swords coming in.
technically, Halo 3 didn't do it complete justice. Is technically there were a lot more than just the elites that joined. Like at first it was the
Yeah, no,
elites, but technically like there were
you see
grunts,
grunts and
there were
jackals and maybe a
not
few hunters
not
come in.
as many jackals as you would think, because technically out of every race, the
They're more
jackals were
mercenaries.
yeah, the jackals were the pirates and mercenaries of the Covenant. The only
They
reason
probably
why
just did it because they were paid.
yeah, the only reason why they were fighting was because they were getting paid for it. So that was really it. So there weren't really many jackals that you would see that would ally with the elites during the schism, but there were some, and
Maybe the grunts
obviously
would,
there were
better living conditions.
obviously there were no brutes. I mean, maybe there was
No.
maybe
Okay, maybe there was, but
like,
I
maybe
really
there were
doubt
like
it.
very few. But let's be honest here,
Like
the whole
according to the lore,
reason
they
for
returned
the
to like primitiveness after the war
yeah,
against
it's
them
like the
turned
whole
sour, so.
reason for the schism was because of the brutes. So
I highly doubt it. Too much bad blood there.
and
But
also if we go over to the hunters, the big baddies of them all, the original boss before the bosses.
the original sub boss.
I would have a feeling that there
feel like
might be
you
a
might.
few of them, because here's the thing. If you go into the story,
They do
and-
respect the elites.
Well, no. Here's the thing. If you go into the lore of the Let Golo, technically, they kind of just follow a type of leader who they are subservient to. So if they respect a certain individual for going and, like, I don't know, doing good by them, I guess is the easiest way to say it, then I would have the strongest feeling that they would probably just follow them anyways.
Yeah, I think in Halo, what was it, 4, you did see a few Let Go just kind of hanging around the camp, like 2 blood brothers just kind of sitting there being
Yes, that's the other thing about it too, is there's always 2 hunters, not just one. So
yeah, they always come in pairs.
yes,
For
which is-
reasons.
which is also funny when you think about it, because Scarifs are technically Let Golo as well. So
Yeah, so that by that logic, you'd have to see 2 scares, but I don't think the game would allow that. You'd see 2 scares parading down
technically,
one
I
wall.
really don't know exactly how it works with the lore, but technically, Let Golo are technically always kind of unically connected, like neurologically.
They just kind of use them
connected.
as like a cheap version of like basically kind of like Warhammer logic, where they use like servitors as computers. They kind of like, hey, you're Let Go, you can transfer electrical signals. Would you like to become circuits?
basically.
And the circuit,
It's
and
like
they're like, okay.
creating electronics without using electronics.
Which is really cheap in a way, but
Yeah.
it's clever. I'll give it that much.
But yeah, there's that. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the world kind of changes, because I know for sure, no matter what, this is going to be a truth when it comes to playing the campaign, is the world will change in a way as you complete things. So there's going to
Oh,
be
yeah, definitely.
you're going to probably gain access to some areas, lose access to some, depending on what happens. Hell, for all we know, there might even be like choices that you can make, like some big end game choices that you make,
Yeah.
that might
Yeah, no, if
determine like the strength of the UNSC force, or a specific outcome for something. Like, it'll be
Yeah, no,
interesting to see how that works.
If it follows a little bit of Far Cry logic, there might be some choices in the end where it's like, for example, do you want to fight the final boss in this way, or do you want to be like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna walk.
I'm going in. Like,
Yeah, it's like, do you want to fight him or do you just want to walk? Like,
yeah. Well, I have a feeling no matter what, this is going to be the banished. I don't think you're just going to walk. Cause
it's a brute, so don't imagine walking. They're
Yeah.
probably going to make it very painful.
Yeah. But, I mean, I could see that, like, there's different ways of defeating, like, the big boss, where it's like one outcome
want
is
upfront?
you kind of somehow gain the ability to do a bombardment or something like that. or
Yeah.
another ability is just you kind of have like a big force that goes in with you, allowing you to go and focus on him while like the rest of the forces are taken care of.
Yeah, he chooses to. He'll be like, "Oh, one-on-one me right now," because brutes. Let's be honest. And you can be like, "Okay, fine, I'll one-on-one you," which will be a tough fight because he's a brute. But
You know,
you
it's
can
it's
also be like,
interesting.
"I'll use poison on you instead."
Can
Actually,
we just take a second how it feels interesting how 343 is trying to make the brutes like an honorable type of fighter, but
they feel more
technically,
gladiatorial than anything else.
yeah, technically when you think about it, the elites are the honorable ones, while the brutes are just kind of the I'm gonna rip your arms off ones.
Yeah, there is no honor among the brutes per se.
They
It's
just
more
kind of
just a
just
think of
eliminate.
Spartan. Like they are as much honorable as the Spartans were, in that they will just murder you. They might be happy about it, but they will murder you regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
let's put it this way: knights equals
there's that.
elites, not them.
There's all that.
Hmm.
Frankly, like I said, game feels like it's in a much polished position. I mean, it should be at the least because I mean it's coming out in December, so
Uh, on a
it
side
should
note, I will.
be.
I, I'm trying to keep as quiet as I can for this episode, which, as you can tell, might not be an issue because I'm trying to, which might be an issue because I am trying to put here and there. But I will say this: this game coming out will make a bloody nightmare for anyone who's trying to get an Xbox Series X because
Hmm.
I honestly, here's a guy who's a big console. I've been playing console since the PS2 era. For those who are wondering, as a guy who's been on the consoles for a while and has seen the kind of newer gen consoles and the issues around them, and the fact that Xboxes are currently hard to get. You think they're hard to get now? Wait until this game comes out; they'll be even harder. And my best money was the same logic I did when approaching Cyberpunk and when I played that game. Don't play it on the older gen Xboxes if you can humanly help it. Play it on the newer gen
Yeah,
Xboxes,
yeah.
preferably, because
Don't.
that is where you get the best looking and best
Yeah,
performing game.
real quick. Don't do what happened with a lot of people in PlayStation and Cyberpunk, where their PlayStation completely crashed and just fell apart because they were
Yeah,
trying to run Cyberpunk.
if you suspect this game might be a little buggy or a little not good
Well,
on the
I
previous
mean,
gen
they've
console,
added a whole
don't
bunch
take
of
your
lens
chance.
flares and stuff, so I have a feeling that you probably should just run the new console no matter what.
Yeah, the new console it looks beautiful on the new consoles outside of the usual bugs, which are being
But
slowly worked
real
out.
quick, can
But
we take a second and just say this is kind of the reason why you need to really give like graphics options for games on consoles, like proper graphics options. That way, you can go and have your console work and not completely fall apart.
yeah, I can see that argument. But yeah, my logic is this: if you suspect a game might not be the best performing on an older gen console, don't risk it. Always see if you can get it on the newer gen consoles if you're able and are able to play it, because that is where you'll see the best performance and where your game might that like in the case of Cyberpunk, for example, just as Justin said, the difference between a PS5 and a PS4 or Xbox Series X and yada 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 is whether your game looks great but is very buggy or whether your game bricks your console.
Yeah.
So there's a very big difference. So, you know,
It's a very fine
don't hedge
detail
your
that you
bets.
need to be careful about.
Yeah, always try to work for the highest common denominator. Don't settle for lower because you might end up with a very bad experience with a game.
And
Or you might
also
just end
keep
up with
in
it.
mind that it's an open world, and with a lot of open worlds, chances are a lot more is gonna be loaded than what you think is gonna be loaded. So it's gonna take a lot of processing. Yeah.
Despite me, what I'm saying, probably going to make the demand for Xboxes go up, I can understand why, like I said, because it might be the difference between a game that bricks your console or a game that's buggy, but playable and nice. So
Yeah. I mean, really, the decision's up to you. For me, if I'm gonna be playing it, I'm gonna be playing it on my PC because at this point, I really don't think I'm gonna be getting a new Xbox anytime soon. So
or anytime in the next 300 years.
yeah, so better off just taking it for what it is. But yeah, hopefully it all launches well, and because I mean they're gonna be coming out for December, which is our Christmas time, which
Oh dear lord.
does mean that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want it for Christmas.
Oh, by the void, this is gonna get very nasty really fast. I can
So
already see them Black Friday shoppers.
so yeah, if you're
Good
going to be
luck.
pre-ordering a disc, you
Like me.
probably want to do it now. Just saying,
Yeah.
do
Even
it
if you
while
don't
you
have the console,
can.
just get the thing first while you still have the ability to get it.
Yeah.
You don't have the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too is like you're better off you might be better off getting the game now while you can before, all of the discs get taken and then just get an Xbox when you can if you don't have one.
Yes. Worst case scenario, you have to wait a little while, but at least you have the disc.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Uh I guess
So yeah,
we can do a quick recap of some of the stuff that we talked about. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but
your show, bro.
yeah, I
You-
mean, it doesn't
I'm
seem
just a
like much,
commentary.
but basically, it's basically as simple as it is because a lot of people saw what 343 was going to be going for, and basically this overview kind of confirmed the majority of stuff that people thought was going to be happening. So, open world, going to be given the option to do quests and objectives whenever you want. There's also going to be probably like random activities and whatnot that you can come across while exploring the world. You're going to be probably given like special objectives in order to get upgrade pieces for your armor, because that's a special little thing that you can do. You get a whole
Yes.
map. We don't know exactly how the map's going to work. I, for one, hope that you're given the option to kind of see what areas are heavily contested and what aren't, because that'll kind of add to the idea for those who like really want to go and fight the banish and like clear out the ring of the banish type of thing. Because
Yes.
there's going to be those kinds of people who are going to like try to be completionist and like one man army this whole thing type of thing. So yeah, I wonder how that works. Then there's obviously the graphical changes. I'd recommend going and looking over that video, the second video in the description, because you can really see some of the changes. Some of the changes are like nice little touches, like a spark for when just before the Master Chief wakes up by our lovely pilot friend. A
Yes.
spark is actually like a lot more. It kind of lights him up a little more. Like it really looks like it actually like sparked instead of just kind of a little flicker.
For the,
So
I don't know why, but immediately when you did that, I just, for whatever reason, when you said Spark, I'm like, oh, is he gonna go on about 343 Guilty Spark for some reason? I don't know why, but that's what immediately.
I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure Spark is gone. But
I
then
actually
again,
no.
Well,
Actually,
no, I was gonna say it's like I'm pretty sure he's gone. But meanwhile, in the books,
I mean, yeah, in the books, he's not gone.
he's kind of just doing his own thing
somewhere.
somehow. Like
So
I don't know. It's a little weird when it comes to him. He's the unknown one. He's the unknown
He's the-
variable.
he them unknown variable, bro.
But yeah, there's that. It doesn't seem like much, but the overview 100% at the very least kind of confirmed a lot of things people thought was going to be going on with the game, and really kind of just set like all of what the game's going to be looking like really going and showing a lot of the details that have actually been worked on since the last time we saw the trailer.
Indeed.
So yeah, to anyone who thought Grug was a main feature of the game, no, not anymore. Sadly, our brute friend is probably no more. But
Really, sadly, honestly.
we all have enough images of him that we'll remember him by.
The internet shall not forget.
Yep. So, I wonder what everyone's going to be doing. If they're going to be pre-ordering, if they're going to be playing on the Xbox, PC. There are going to be multiple options. So, I wonder what's going to be going on there. If you are watching or watching the video later on, maybe comment below. Tell us what you plan on doing for Infinite, or if you just plan on kind of
Yes.
sitting back watching everyone else rip and tear while you go and take a sip on a nice, I don't know, cold
I don't
one,
know, iced coffee or water or something, or I don't know,
tea. I don't
wine
know.
or vodka. I don't know.
We
You just
can't
plan to
we
watch the
can't.
fireworks of this madness.
Yeah, we'll see how it all goes.
I know
We
I'll
will.
probably be among the mad, so you might see me if you're lucky. Um,
I mean, I for one probably won't be buying it right away. I'll probably wait a little bit. That's just because I've had enough
he's not
pre-ordering
the
from.
R&D department. That's why he gets the advantage of waiting.
Well, not really. More along the lines of I don't feel like waiting because I have had enough experience with pre-ordering. So I'd rather wait a little bit, make sure everything's out fine before having our little fun.
Anyways, we'll leave it at that, I guess, for now.
We'll have we'll have fun though. I'm pretty sure it's all
Yes.
gonna be an interesting experience. That's gonna, at the very least, go and put a bit of a connection between the main Halo story and Halo Wars, because Halo Wars has kind of been an interesting story.
Side project for a while now.
Not really a side
Not a
project.
side project, but
It's been
a side.
it's been
an
its
offshoot.
own
An offshoot.
story, its own like side story. But the interesting thing about it is the fact that a lot of those Marines and soldiers for that are of the older dynamic. Like they're all like really.
They're
old.
all
They're just-
pre-war veterans. Like
not
these are
pre-war. No, they're not
No, not
pre-war. They're early Covenant War. They're the early
Yeah.
Covenant War, because a lot of the time they've actually spent in cryo sleep. So
Yeah, they went into cryo in the early war with the Covenant. The first thing they said when they got out is, "So who's winning the war?" And it's like, "The war's over." Wait, what?
Well, technically, no. Technically, I'm pretty sure Halo Wars 1 was still during, like, heavily in the war, and
They-
then Halo Wars 2 was when they're like, war
Like,
over?
put it to you this way. I think the Halo Wars 1, if memory serves, in the original cinematic, is at least 100 years before the. Not even 100 years. No, not even that. Maybe 100 years.
It's
before the
Halo.
before the first Halo
Yeah,
was even
it's
discovered.
yeah. The
so,
first Halo Wars takes place before Halo 1, so
Like,
it's
quite a bit,
well,
too.
it's well within like the Covenant War.
yeah, it's well within the earlier years of the Covenant War, and they're like, "Who's winning?" And it's like, "Well, you won, but the war's been over for a while now.
Yeah.
Now we get someone else to shoot."
It'll be interesting to see how they react, though, to like technically previous Covenant forces working beside humans. That'll be
Yeah, that'll be
thing.
interesting. There's all that still old space racism from the war. It's like,
Yeah, a lot of
I
them-
remember you
A
torching
lot of
planets,
them,
buddy.
like literally, still have fresh battle scars still against the Covenant. So
It's like, you gave this to me, you gave this to me, and I'm like, buddy, I haven't seen you for 300 years.
but buddy, you were supposed to be dead.
You were supposed to be dead like 100 years back now.
So there's that. Infinite's gonna
And-
be launching in December. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully
Yep.
everything is gonna stay on schedule and everything's on track.
Yep, it's coming out December 8th. If you're interested,
Infinite
good luck
has a
getting it.
lot of detail stuff going on. We've seen pretty clearly how the story is at least going to be going when it comes to major gameplay aspects and the ability to upgrade and whatnot like that. So we will see how it all plays out. It'll be very interesting, as well as I'm pretty sure an aspect some people have been wondering, the AI Cortana thing.
Cortana's still around, don't worry.
Yeah,
She's in the game somewhere.
Yeah, I have a feeling how it's gonna work is like there's gonna be like a subsect of Cortana on the ring in a way. And
Yeah. I mean, we hear
Is
her
that-
during the thing, so expect her to make an appearance in some form. She might actually try to go full on later Mendicant bias and be like, I'm sorry, take me back.
yeah, maybe.
I feel like she'd do that because she likes him.
We'll see.
And don't get me wrong, she's got a thing for the chief. We all know this.
Yeah.
We all know this.
Something ain't right here.
Hey, an AI loving a man, there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's a healthy relationship of loving your Microsoft machine like I love my computer. The computer doesn't tell me it loves me back though, but I'm sure it does.
Perhaps.
Anyways,
Until then.
so until then, later, everybody.
Yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed. You've seen some stuff. If you've looked at the review yourself, I'd recommend it because
It's fun.
it gives some nice detail to a lot of the stuff going on.
It is, but we should probably end up because otherwise we're gonna end up an hour and a half long video, and I know for a fact you guys don't like that, so we'll walk out now.
Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.